Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Grant Cameron, and I'm joined by my co-author and assistant, Desta Barnaby. I'm on the west coast of Canada. She's on the east, sort of on the east coast of Canada. And we have a super special guest today from Mexico City. We have everybody's been following this Buga ball story, and I've been working on a number of other stories. We're going to do an interview, Desta and I. We're going to provide it for Jaime. It's going to be jaw-dropping of material that I've got that will support the what Jaime's doing. But we've got Jaime Maussan, who is a Mexican investigative journalist and ufologist, best known for his work covering UFO phenomena and extraterrestrial research, with a career spanning several decades. Jaime has produced numerous documentaries, television programs, and news segments exploring unexplained aerial phenomena, alien encounters, and conspiracy theories. And I know him best for seeing him at UFO Congress and a number of different events where we knew when it was time for Jaime to present, you had better get a seat because there would be people hanging from the rafters. There's so many people to watch his presentations because they're all produced out of his TV studio and they were all seamless and had all sorts of videos. So I want to welcome Jaime Maussan. Jaime has been given the Booga Ball to sort of investigate, and we're going to have a short interview with him, and he's going to tell us the story of how this happened and where the story is now. And I really appreciate this as sort of a breaking story that's happening down in Mexico City. So welcome, Jaime Maussan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Grant Cameron. It's
Yes,
an honor to be here with you too.
it's a pleasure. So let's give me sort of a background as to how you got the ball and where you're going with the story.
Well, first of all, I saw the videos. I saw two videos. One that was recorded by Maria. It seems that she's Maria Bedoya. Now we know her last name. She's a 24-year-old woman who is married to a military man who lives in the area of Alto Bonito, where this sphere was seen and recorded. And the second video was done. Now we know his full name, Jose Arias Restrepo. Both videos were spectacular because the sphere was very near, very, very close to the camera. We saw so many details. And in the case of Jose Arias, we saw the sphere coming down. We saw him running and getting the sphere and taking the sphere. And that really opened my mind about the possibility to do an investigation around the sphere. Then I got in touch with the man who uploaded the videos, who was David Velez. Then I talked to him for a few days, for a couple of weeks. It was very slow, this procedure, to really get close to him. But at one point he said, this is becoming a chaos. My company, have a company, Germany company, who builds equipment to find treasures, electromagnetic equipment, who finds treasure or who finds probably oil underground or water on the ground. And he made that. Jose Arias Restrepo is his cousin because it's David Velez Restrepo. Then that's the reason why Jose gave the sphere to his cousin who has this company. And it happened after Jose got very sick, got nausea, got headaches, he was feeling very bad. Then he thought that probably the sphere was producing this, and he decided to give away to his cousin. He sent a van with 4 people covered with lead suits, like we see them in the movies with NASA, and they took the sphere very carefully. They put it in quarantine in the company, and after they were able to know for sure that the sphere was not producing any radioactivity, they decided to investigate it openly. And at that moment, on March 26th, he released the videos into the internet, and that's when more or less everything started to happen. Then, as I said, I got in touch with him, and he said, "This is a chaos. My company now is suffering. The image of my company is being compromised, and I don't know what to do." And I told him, and I remember perfectly. I said, "Tell them that you gave me the sphere, and that way they will stop to bothering you." And what we didn't expect, neither he or me, is that the people would be very happy with that decision. All of them told him, "Oh, what a good idea! What a great idea! You gave it to Jaime Maussan. Now we know it's going to be investigated. It's going to be safe." And then all the people in the company decided that same day to give me the sphere. Then next day I called him. He told me, "I have very great news for you. We're going to give you the sphere." In a way, I didn't believe it, but I said, "Well, if that happens, it's going to be, how am I going to bring the sphere to Mexico?" And he said, "I can send it to you because I send a lot of equipment to different parts of the world." And I say, "Let's go and see. Let me take a look of the sphere." I went to Colombia to make the investigation, and at the same time to get the sphere. I did the investigation. I met Jose Arias. We went to the place. We recreated everything. I went to the home of David Vélez, and he presented the sphere to me. And that's how I got involved. And at the end, I decided to do it very simple. I mean, I sent a letter to the police saying that I was going to transport the sphere. That was not, didn't present any danger to the people around it or to the transportation. That meant an airplane. And that's how I did it. I took a very small bag, the sphere goes very tight there, to not to attract the attention. I took it with me, but when I went through security, they say, "No, no, 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 you cannot take that on the airplane because you can use it to hit someone." And I said, "Come on, I'm not going to do that." And they say, "No, no, 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 you cannot do that." And the people, the police, saw the sphere, and they take a good look inside. They couldn't find any drugs, any weapons. Then the police say, "For us, it's okay. You can take it up to inside the airplane." But the other people, the security people, they said, "No, you have to take it down." And then I went there to the airline and I put it down, and that's how I came to Mexico with the sphere under the plane. And that's a long story, very short. That's how I got it. And in Mexico, when I went in, they just said, "What is that?" I said, "Well, it's a sphere." "What is it?" "It's artesanía." I was not going to tell anyone. "Oh, this sphere was flying, and I bring it." No, no. I just say it's artesanía because if you open, you could see all the design and all the figures there. And then everybody would say, "Yeah, it's artesanía." Now everybody knows the sphere. Now you couldn't do that. But at that moment, nobody knew the sphere. And then they say, "Okay, it's artesanía. Go ahead." And that's how I got it. That's simple. It was not difficult at all.
And what work have you done on it? And can you include Stephen Greer coming in with his NASA people? What kind of work have you done on this sphere since you got it? And has there been any weird activity in terms of the ball moving around, like the Bates ball? The claim was moving
No,
around?
no, no. The only weird things is that some people sometimes got headaches.
Okay.
Some people, one of my people couldn't get a sphere because his hands were trembling. And now it doesn't happen to him, but he gets bumps pop. How you say bumps up? Pop?
Yeah. Yes, bumps. Yeah.
Uh, every time he gets close to the sphere, he's very sensitive.
Wow.
What have I done to the sphere? Well, we have done many things. We made X-rays. We found that there are two pieces of the sphere, but it's joined so well that we don't know how it was done. We don't know. Nobody has figured it out. We know that the little pins in the North Pole, what we call the North Pole now, they go inside the sphere. Okay, they go inside the the coaster of the sphere. Okay, we know that there are 31 holes with polymer, but we found inside the polymer fiber optics, very fine, well, all kinds of different sizes, but especially very, very thin, thinner than a hair. And we now know that that's optics, fiber optics.
Yeah.
And we have found so many things. We have found that the sphere has different temperatures all around. We have found that sometimes we measure the hardness of the sphere, and it was so hard that even harder than the aluminum we use to go to space. Wow. But then we apply magnets and the sphere. Now, if you try to measure how hard it is, goes to 1/3 of what it was.
Wow.
We don't understand that. There are so many other things. We found that now, just recently, we found that it seems to be sending signals to space because the frequency is very, very low, 2.3 hertz. Okay. It's very low. Then we know that in the space, that's the way you do it because you get very long transmissions that way. And there is so much more to investigate. I mean, every day we find something different, and that's what is happening. Yes, Stephen Greer came here. He took samples of the metal from inside one of the holes. He took all the polymer, and that way he was able to take fiber optics. He's going to analyze that. He's going to analyze with carbon-14 how old is this sphere. He says he can do it in cold because if you use some technique that uses heat, you will destroy the polymer, and then it has to be very special. And he's also going to check the isotopes of the sphere, of the metal of the sphere, to know if this was constructed here or somewhere else. Other very important thing is that we found that above the sphere you have figures, but they are very rude, very, how can I say, artisanal. Yeah. They are very, very, they don't seem to be done by a high-tech society, high-tech civilization. Yeah. They look like they were made in the past, 1,000, 2,000 years ago. Okay. That's a real mystery. Yeah. That's also the way this sphere, the aluminum, because it's 70-some% aluminum, and it's more than 22% silicium, which is very rare. But the aluminum was melted. The sphere was made with a very old technique, which is wet sand. That technique was used 5,000 years ago. Wow. And then we have this mystery because it seems to be very old and at the same time very, very modern. But for me, the explanation is this. This civilization who made the sphere is using all techniques because those techniques doesn't hurt the earth, the environment, or anything. And I think these civilizations come from probably rough times in their own worlds, you know, when they learn that they had to do things the old way, even though using very advanced technology. And that's something we have to figure out. Mr. Greer thinks that it comes from the past. He wants to demonstrate that it's 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 years old, and so on. and also that probably was not made on Earth, or that was probably made on Earth, and then there was an old civilization who made all this. There are so many mysteries yet, Grant.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you everything for sure.
Well, what have you got a university helping you do this, or who's helping you do your research?
Yeah, well, the university in Mexico, National University, UNAM, made the discovery of the fiber optics, and they made other discoveries, and that's the university. And I have some scientists who are working for me, like Ingeniero Rodolfo Garrido. And he has done an incredible research, and he's still working on that. And we are now hiring a company and experts on fiber optics to see what we can get. The only thing I can tell you, and that's for sure, and I put my name behind that, is that the sphere is absolutely real. Anyone who's saying that this is a fake, that this is a hoax, they don't know what they are saying. They just they work in their desk with a computer, and they don't do any investigation. They don't give us anything to work with.
Yeah.
Then they just criticize everything we do.
Now, the research I'm going to send you on the Bates ball from 1974, there was a lot of government involvement, and I'm going to get into, and it's going to be pretty shocking when you see what actually happened. You had somebody tried to seize the ball. Can you tell that story?
Yeah, Saturday night, 7:30 p.m., when we were having dinner with Dr. Greer and others, I was called, and the people here in my office said that two policemen or two people dressed as policemen came to get the sphere because they were going to transport the sphere, because they said, you had an event yesterday. Yes, we had an event yesterday. Okay, then we were hired to transport these, but they never expected that I have guards with guns around my office. Probably that stopped them. But the other thing is that the sphere is in a safe box. I have an office. It used to be a bank here where I am. Then they left, and they left the safe there, and I am using this. And there is a whole, how can you say, bóveda, a whole space that is protected anti-robbery. Then it's in a perfect spot. I mean, it would be very difficult for anyone to try to steal it.
Again, on the government involvement thing, you had a news conference there where you had a bunch of people there. One of them was Burlison from the U.S. House of Representatives. What was his comment on it? And I think you showed him some of the mummy material.
Yes.
What were his comments on these different things?
Well, as a good politician, he didn't want to compromise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he said everything is very interesting. It should be investigated. He didn't say there were hoaxes. On the opposite, Stephen Greer considered now the bodies real. He considers the BUGA Sphere real. Now his set of mind is very different. I mean, now Stephen Greer thinks that, yeah, both cases are real. And what is incredible is this, that I have both cases, that I have the mummies from Peru,
Yeah.
and I have the BUGA Sphere. And both cases are probably the most important at this moment in the UFO phenomenon.
How much money do you think you spent investigating all these two cases? You put a lot of money. I think that's one of the reasons why you got it, is you got
From 500,000 to $1 million.
Yeah. The other thing that I want to, and now I'll get Desta to, have you worked with Congress or anything, or what's the attitude in Mexico to what's going on in the U.S. Congress in terms of the disclosure effort?
Well, they were very interested, and I received a lot of help to do the presentation in 2023. But from then on, I haven't been able to have any contact with them. I don't know if somebody threatened them, or somebody tried to expose them, or they thought that it was too dangerous to get involved with this. you know how difficult it is. You know, you've been working with politicians all along, and you know how careful they are. That's the way Burlison was, but at the same time, he was extremely happy. He was, I mean, very satisfied that he came, and he was a witness. He was a real witness now, and I think he's just waiting for the result, the confirmation from Stephen Greer. And I think that when that happens, and he's very, very sure that some American scientists are confirming the authenticity of the sphere, he will come forward, and probably he could take this case to the Congress. However, Danny Sheehan, who was also here, recommended us that we should take the sphere into the government, I mean, into the United States of America, because the government could confiscate it, claiming that was a matter of national security. And even if this sphere was in the Congress of the United States, they could go and take it. It wouldn't be safe for me to take it anywhere else in the world but Mexico. And what I'm trying to do right now is that any investigation has to be done here in my offices, surrounded by guards. We are hiring more guards with rifles, and then it's going to be very tough for anyone who wants to come and steal it. But I think this is the place where it should be, because if I take it by car, if I take it anywhere else, it's a very big risk.
Okay, Desta, have you got any questions as we close here?
I just have one question that you didn't go over already. Is there any other anomalous, like silver-looking or aluminum-looking spheres that you've investigated before, or that there isn't?
Yes, there is a small sphere that looks very much like the Betz sphere, but we haven't found anything at all. Anything. The only thing that was found floating in a lake by a woman. She kept it for 2 years, and she claimed that the sphere created, how can I say, different things in the garden. Like, for example, the cactus grew with hearts. Very, very funny. The leaves of the cactus created, like hearts. I saw it. But I don't know. That's the only thing that I think it did, I have it because I got it from her, and I have it here. I sent it to the university, but in this case, they couldn't find anything. Absolutely. In the case of the BUGA Sphere, it's a very different story. The university now, they think is the real deal, but they don't want to get involved in the case. They are very afraid of all this campaign that is being done, and if they put their prestige behind the sphere, they would be attacked, and that's something that it shouldn't happen, but it happens, and it's very unfortunate.
One last question is was there a story, is it your ball that the weight was changing? Is there a claim of that the weight?
That is correct. That's one of the other things. There are so many, I forget sometimes. Yeah, the weight when it landed was 2 kilos.
Okay.
After a few days, 6 kilos. After 9 kilos, and finally, when I got the sphere was 10 kilos, 10.1 kilo. Then, and that's the weight right now for now a long time, and well, since I have it, which is a month and a half ago.
Wow. Well, I appreciate your spending a few minutes with us, and I know Paula Harris is with you quite once in a while, and I've got her to do some updates. So hopefully you can keep us updated as to the development.
Absolutely.
Here.
Anything and I will send you anything you need, you just let me know, and I will give you all the information I have. I think many things are coming. Big surprises are coming with this sphere. Okay?
Okay, and you'll be very interested in the material I sent on the Bates ball. And it's pretty well confirmed. So you can use that, and well, I'll answer your questions. So thank you very much, Jaime, and I appreciate all the work you're doing. And keep going.
Thank you very much, Grant.
Namaste.
Bye bye.